Let's take a look at some charts on Cardano ADA from this week's article on Brave New Coin. So Cardano is a staking coin, proof of stake coin, that is attempting to become increasingly decentralized. Up until a few months ago, they were extremely centralized, and I'd argue a test net until proof of stake went live a few months ago. And if we compare this ADA to other staking coins, ADA is a bit of an outlier based on its market cap. I mean, it's a big leader amongst the group by market cap, but not so much in other metrics. It does have high daily transaction volume. Fees are in the middle of the pack, which is fine. I mean, Tron has no fees, so you can't really compare most of these head-to-head to Tron because, you know, they have millions of transactions that I can't even put on this graph because it would be massively skewed. Daily active addresses is probably worth putting on here because they have Tether, but even then it's still, this number is interesting, let's just say. And Cardano's transactions per day are way down the bottom of the pack compared to everything else based on market cap. I mean, you'd think Cardano would have much more activity relative to its peers in the proof of stake realm, and the same with daily active addresses. It does have a significant number of Git commits or GitHub activity, and it's too much for any layman to understand. They have 300 and something odd repos and tons of commits, and I don't know. If you look at Bitcoin, there's like 2 repos, right? So it's harder to understand what's going on with Cardano from the development side, but they've got multiple streams of development going on concurrently and updates happening concurrently. If we look at the progression of centralization to decentralization, the network is somewhere in between these two bubbles where it's off the centralized Cardano, all nodes run by Cardano situation, and it's definitely got staking pools that are active. I mentioned in the article, I think there's 3,000 now, 65% of the network's being staked, so there's a lot of staking activity going on, certainly. And if we look at notional value, it is up there with the giant bubbles here. Here's ADA down here, Tezos, DOT, Atom, EOS, Tron, Algo are all of its peers, and I think to any general person, when you're looking at proof of stake coins, you don't know ADA from Tezos, right? You don't know ADA from EOS. So anyone who's doing their research is going to look at, okay, what's the inflation? What's the staking percentage? How many coins exist? They may look at, you know, who are the all-stars of ADA versus EOS and Tezos? You know, Brightman versus Bloomer versus Hoskinson. That may all play a factor in new money into the coin. So despite having relatively low transactions per day amongst its peers in proof of stake land, it does have all-time highs in transactions per day this week. So there's definitely been more activity than ever. You can see how there was a bunch of activity leading into July when the price spiked, July, August. All that dissolved and now it's back again. So I'd expect price to look healthy based on on-chain metrics here. And average transaction sizes are slowly creeping up. Not necessarily anything that's ever bullish or bearish, but it just says that there's a lot of on-chain activity going on here. If we look at active addresses, again, despite being relatively low for their peers in proof of stake land, they look like they're headed back to all-time highs. NVT, inverse metric of economic utility, is rising, but still basically at an all-time low. So although rising NVT is bearish, it's still relatively bullish based on where it sits. And to see active addresses and transactions per day increasing to near all-time highs is definitely bullish. If we look at Google Trends are also curling up. So that's why I titled the article Fundamentals Are on the Rise, because everything you look at in the fundamental perspective is increasing, and this is definitely bullish for any coin in a vacuum. You can see how, again, leading into that July-August price spike with the proof of stake rewards being released for the first time. Tons of Google Trends increasing there. You know, it's not 2017, but it's not nothing. If we zoom in on the past 2 years, it's definitely increasing again. So that's what you want to see if you're bullish. Let's look at technicals. We have 50-200 EMA yearly pivots, VPVR, volume, and RSI. So the first thing that sticks out to me is typically VPVR because it's so large on the right side of the chart here. So price is above any volume area previously. It's above 40.042, it's above 0.9. So on the way down, these are going to be support levels. On the way up, they were resistance levels. They're not in resistance anymore because price is above them. If you look at the 15 to 200, even despite that pullback, the cross remained bullish. It held above R1. It held above that at VPVR level. So all this looks bullish. I mean, this is multi-month highs, almost multi-year highs for ADA here. Volume also looks bullish. It's not rising price on less volume. And RSI, there's arguably a bear div starting here, but this can definitely go higher with more of a bear div. And the yearly pivots are super tight because price was super tight the previous year. So it'll be interesting to see what pivots we get in January. But on the way up, all these may act as resistance. The big levels I'd watch is just the horizontals from previously. So 0.22, 0.40, or sorry, 22 cents, 40 cents. Those are kind of the next horizontals on the way up. And if you look at the cloud, it went bullish, retested, went bearish briefly, and now it's bullish again for the first time since July, August. So this is definitely what you want to see. Again, if you're bullish on trend, you might not like ADA like me. You might think it's trash, but the fundamentals look good. Technicals look good. Cardano BTC, again, if we look at the 200, the cloud, VPVR, yearly pivots. The first thing that really stuck out to me here was that we had this inverted head and shoulders here previously, and we're setting up for a similar situation here. Shoulder, head, we may get a shoulder into 2021, and then a break above that to the yearly pivot at around 1500 sats. So there's a trade here from 900 to 1500 sats, most certainly. Again, similar to what happened over here in 2018, 2019. The timing is similar as well. I mean, this happened in Q2, early Q1, March, April, and it's probably setting up for that time-wise as well. If that fails, it's headed back to 500 sats. I mean, that's the bottom of this right now. So if you longed here, 800 to 15 versus 800 to 5, it's not a great risk reward, but it's decent. That risk reward will tighten up once this Adam and Eve is complete. Volume looks good. No bear divs on RSI. It's also entering the cloud for the first time since July. I mean, look at this decline since staking rewards were released. All this buildup was leading into the staking rewards getting released, and then it just puked itself probably because all that supply got unlocked very quickly. So now that is stabilizing, is how I would read this. This does look good for up. So fundamentals again look decent for ADA, surprisingly, even though it's not like a standout amongst proof of stake coins. And technicals for both the USD and BTC pairs look okay. It's more bullish on the USD pair certainly, but the BTC pair is something to watch into Q1, Q2, 2021.